The season hasn't even started yet, and the Ravens are already facing a massive challenge. Week 1 throws them straight into a showdown with the Bills, and not just anywhere, right at the stadium where their playoff dreams ended last year. It almost feels like fate, going back to the same place, against the same rival, but now with everything on the line again. And what makes it even more concerning is that Buffalo isn't just strong. They're almost like a brick wall at home. Josh Allen hasn't lost there, and the Bills' defense seems to have a blueprint ready to shut down Lamar Jackson. The big question is, can the Ravens flip the script right away, or are they about to relive the same ghost from last season? The season hasn't even officially kicked off, and the Ravens already have a huge mission ahead. Their first game is against the Bills in Buffalo, the exact place where their playoff hopes came crashing down last year. It's like returning to the spot where you fell, now having to prove you can stand tall. This opening game isn't just another matchup. It carries a huge emotional weight, reopening a wound that hasn't fully healed. Lamar Jackson knows exactly what this means. He didn't just lose. He watched his team get eliminated in a game that left the feeling that Baltimore wasn't ready to take the next step. Now, with a clean slate and a fresh season starting, he has a chance to change that story. Playing well in Buffalo would be more than a win on the schedule. It would be a statement to everyone who doubted the team. And you can't ignore how much this affects confidence. Winning right out of the gate in one of the NFL's most hostile environments could fuel the entire season. On the flip side, if the Ravens stumble again in the same place, the shadow of that past loss will loom even larger and criticism will come fast. It's that delicate balance between redemption and frustration that makes this matchup so intense. What makes it even more intriguing is that Buffalo isn't just a strong team. They seem to have Baltimore's number in the most crucial moments. For the Ravens, there's no better way to start the season than facing the team that became the symbol of their fall. If they win, the impact will be massive. And that brings us to the next point. Playing in Buffalo is never easy. That home field advantage is huge, and it could be the difference between a win and a loss. You can already feel how electrifying this game is going to be. If there's one place almost no team wants to play, it's Buffalo. The environment is already tough. The fans are rabid, and the stadium turns into a literal pressure cooker. Josh Allen seems to elevate his game at home, and the proof is in his 11 consecutive wins as a starter in regular season games there. It creates a near-invincible vibe, like the Bills always have an extra edge just for playing on their turf. Home field advantage like this can completely change a game. It doesn't matter if the opponent is elite, packed with stars, or riding momentum. Buffalo's atmosphere weighs heavily. The noise, the pressure, and, most importantly, the confidence of a team used to defending their house make all the difference. That's why analysts often tilt slightly toward the Bills, even in a seemingly even matchup. For Baltimore, this factor is huge. It's not enough to face a top-tier team. They also have to survive an environment that has already knocked out many teams before a single snap. Winning in Buffalo would almost feel like a double victory. One over the opponent, and one over the intense pressure of one of the NFL's toughest stadiums. It's that combination of talent on the field and atmosphere off it that makes the Ravens' task so difficult. And when you look at Lamar Jackson's history against Buffalo, it's clear this challenge has come up more than once in his career. When it comes to facing the Bills, Lamar Jackson's numbers aren't exactly inspiring. In 4 games against them, he's only won once. On top of that, he's had 6 turnovers for interceptions and 2 fumbles, showing just how well Buffalo can force mistakes in crucial moments. That's a stat you can't ignore. It reflects how Sean McDermott's defense consistently frustrates Baltimore's quarterback. And it's not just about turnovers. Lamar's overall offensive production also drops significantly in these matchups. He averages just 179 passing yards per game against Buffalo, well below what he usually delivers against other teams. Sure, his running threat remains, averaging around 50 rushing yards, but Buffalo always seems to find a way to limit his full impact. This history shows how much McDermott knows how to complicate Lamar's life. Before becoming head coach, he spent 8 years as a defensive coordinator, and that experience is evident every time he faces mobile, creative quarterbacks. It's like he already has a playbook, ready to neutralize Baltimore's main weapons. All of this adds even more pressure on Lamar for this opener. He's not just playing against a strong defense. He's playing against a team that has repeatedly proven it can stop him. Winning this matchup would break that pattern and, more importantly, send a message that the Ravens have evolved to overcome old obstacles. And that evolution is exactly what many are betting on. Baltimore spent the entire offseason tweaking key pieces, bringing in reinforcements, and developing young talent to change this narrative.
All right, we're already past the halfway point of this video, but before we continue, I noticed you haven't left a like yet. It's really important because it helps YouTube keep showing you my content so I can keep bringing you the best news about the Baltimore Ravens. So go ahead and hit that like button. It's free and it really helps. Thanks. Now let's get back to it.
The Ravens didn't sit still after last year's playoff exit. Management worked hard in the offseason to strengthen weak spots. They added new faces to the secondary, expanded the receiving core, and made key adjustments to both the offensive and defensive lines. It's a full package of changes that shows just how committed the franchise is to giving Lamar Jackson the support he needs. What's even more interesting is that these changes aren't just about adding veteran experience. Baltimore made strategic draft picks, developed young talent, and built a more balanced roster capable of taking on any opponent. Rookie Mike Green, for example, is already being talked about as a candidate for Defensive Rookie of the Year, showing that even newcomers could have an immediate impact. This kind of reinforcement sends a clear message. The Ravens aren't just here to compete. They want to win. They know the team was already strong, but it still needed that extra push to turn potential into championships. Now, with new pieces and a deeper roster, the expectation is a team more prepared to handle the season's biggest challenges. That makes Week 1 against Buffalo the perfect stage. It's a chance to prove right away that all the offseason work wasn't for nothing. If they can assert themselves against the Bills, no one will see Baltimore as just a good team anymore. The narrative changes. They'll be recognized as the real threat they want to be. And that's why this first Sunday Night Football feels like an early final. Even though it's only Week 1, it carries all the tension and balance of a title-contending matchup. When experts look at this matchup, the word that keeps coming up is balance. John Breach from CBS Sports, for example, predicts a Bills win at 30-23, a score that perfectly shows how tightly these two teams could fight down to the last play. It's the kind of game where any little thing can make the difference, an unexpected turnover, a big play, or even a crucial execution mistake. This prediction highlights just how respected this matchup is in the NFL. You can't just pick a clear favorite, because the Ravens have enough talent to give Buffalo a real fight. At the same time, home field advantage in recent history tilt the scales toward the Bills. That balance is what makes this game so anticipated. And there's more. The NFL couldn't have picked a better stage to kick off the season in prime time. A Sunday Night Football showdown between two AFC powerhouses, with intertwined recent history and players chasing individual and team accolades. It's basically an invitation to stay glued to the screen from kickoff. For neutral fans, it's must-watch TV. But for the Ravens and Bills, it's much more than that. It's a chance to send a message right in Week 1. Who's truly ready to fight for the top of the conference? That tone will set the stage for the rest of the season. What we've seen is that the Ravens are starting the season with a huge test. Heading back to Buffalo, facing an environment where almost no one wins, and taking on an opponent that knows exactly how to shut down Lamar Jackson. The home field advantage, the head-to-head history, and the pressure to erase last year's playoff disappointment make this game much bigger than just an opener. At the same time, Baltimore arrives with a different vibe. Management has reinforced the roster, invested in new talent, and brought in pieces that could change the narrative entirely. If the Ravens can pull off a win in Week 1, it will send a massive statement to the entire NFL that this team is genuinely ready to compete at the top. Now I want to know, do you think Baltimore can break the streak and shock the Bills in Buffalo, or will the ghosts of the past weigh too heavily? One thing is for sure. This matchup promises to be one of the hottest openers of the season and could set the tone for everything we'll see throughout the year.
And if you, just like me, are passionate about the world of football and want to learn more about the Ravens' legacy, don't leave this video without sharing it with that friend who is also a Baltimore Ravens fan and will love this content. See those video suggestions on your screen? The first one was handpicked just for you, and the other is a recommendation from YouTube itself. See you there, and until the next video, go flock.